Welcome to the AI Business and Innovation Podcast. I'm Daniel N.J. Halbert, and this is your global daily briefing for today. We've got a fast-paced tour of the world's top trending stories, from breakthrough innovations to geopolitical flare-ups. Stay with us for the next 20 minutes to get updated on everything shaping our world. And make sure to stick around for our outro. We've got a special invite for you to join our community. Did Southeast Asia just erupt into an unexpected border war? In a startling escalation, Thailand and Cambodia have been trading artillery fire and accusations for 3 days straight, ignited by a landmine blast that wounded Thai soldiers. The clashes have turned deadly, with at least 33 people killed and over 168,000 displaced from border villages so far. Both governments have recalled their ambassadors and shut border crossings as fears grow of a wider conflict. International pressure is mounting for a ceasefire. In a dramatic twist, U.S. President Donald Trump personally phoned both leaders and hinted he'd freeze trade deals if fighting continued, a bold move that apparently pushed Bangkok and Phnom Penh to consider talks. ASEAN neighbors and even the UN Security Council echoed calls for restraint, with Malaysia stepping up to mediate peace. Each side, however, still blames the other for unprovoked aggression, and skirmishes even spread to new areas, raising alarm about a misstep triggering all-out war. For now, tentative ceasefire meetings are on the table, but tensions remain sky-high. We'll watch whether cooler heads prevail or if this frontier feud spirals into the region's next big crisis. Are we witnessing famine conditions in Gaza, and can airdrops avert catastrophe? After weeks of harrowing reports of starvation-related deaths in besieged Gaza, Israel's military announced it would begin airdropping humanitarian aid into the enclave. Late Saturday, the first small-scale airdrops delivered packets of flour, sugar, and canned foods, following international outcry and warnings that Gaza was on the brink of famine. Israel also says it will open more humanitarian corridors for UN aid convoys and allow limited tactical pauses in fighting to get relief in. On the ground, though, the situation is dire. Aid groups report malnourished children and families at catastrophic levels, and several hundred Palestinians have died in recent weeks just trying to reach food aid amidst the conflict. Israel's government insists it's not deliberately starving the population, pointing out that over 250 aid trucks entered Gaza this week, and calls claims of an imposed famine false. However, the UN and many of Israel's own allies are pressing harder. Open more routes, allow more aid, and do it fast. 7 pallets of food in airdrops are a start, but with 2 million plus people in need, it's a drop in the bucket. The big question, will these gestures expand in time to prevent a full-blown humanitarian catastrophe? The world is watching closely. If you're glad to see this critical story covered, give this video a quick like. And tell us in the comments, what more should be done to help Gaza? How did a tech glitch in space knock out battlefield comms on Earth? This week, SpaceX's Starlink, the satellite network keeping Ukrainians online, suffered its biggest global outage ever, and the timing couldn't be worse. An internal software failure took down tens of thousands of Starlink terminals on Thursday, blacking out service for about 2.5 hours. On Ukraine's front lines, that meant a sudden communications crisis. Starlink is down across the entire front, one commander posted anxiously as troops lost live drone feeds and secure links. Ukrainian forces rely heavily on Starlink, thousands of units, for controlling drones and coordinating units since it's proven resilient against Russian jamming. The outage forced units to operate blind for part of the night, flying drones without video and improvising old-school comms. Fortunately, service was restored after midnight, and Elon Musk's team quickly apologized on X, Twitter, promising to fix the root cause. Musk himself assured users the disruption was temporary and vowed it won't happen again. Still, the incident rang alarm bells about over-reliance on a single tech lifeline. Ukrainian tech leaders called it a huge risk that highlights the need for backup systems. Even Russian units reportedly use Starlink in occupied areas, meaning both sides felt the pinch. In modern war, connectivity can be a matter of life and death, and this was a stark reminder that even cutting-edge networks have frailties. As Ukraine innovates around constant cyber threats, contingency plans for the next outage are surely now a top priority. The White House is going all in on AI, but at what cost? President Trump unveiled a sweeping AI action plan this week with one clear message: win the global AI race by any means necessary. The plan, announced via executive order, aims to dismantle unnecessary regulatory barriers and speed up AI development across every sector. Trump's team argues that cutting red tape will unleash innovation and ensure the US, not China, sets the standards for the next tech revolution. In Trump's words, it's like a new space race, promising an AI golden age of economic and military dominance for America. Under this strategy, the private sector gets free rein. Open-source AI models and rapid deployment are being encouraged, even if that means accepting more risk from misuse or misaligned AI. The administration is essentially prioritizing speed and scale over safety, a sharp pivot from the prior approach. Tech leaders are cheering the pro-innovation stance, hoping to turbocharge growth and out-innovate Beijing. But critics warn that rushing AI out without guardrails could backfire, enabling bad actors to spread deepfakes or worse. There's also scant detail on how the US will mitigate new AI dangers or stop adversaries from stealing our advances. The plan banks on American companies to defend their own AI and proposes beefing up AI infrastructure, worker training, and even a virtual testing ground for military AI. It's bold and controversial. Fast-track innovation at the expense of heavier regulation. Will it make AI great again for the US, or set the stage for an AI arms race with minimal oversight? One thing's for sure, the world's watching whether this gambit propels America ahead or opens a Pandora's box of tech troubles. Enjoying these deep dives? Don't forget to subscribe for more insightful briefings and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Would you train an AI that ultimately replaces you? Across the tech industry, a new wave of layoffs is being blamed on AI automation, and it's raising tough questions about the future of work. Companies from Silicon Valley to Shanghai are citing efficiency gains from AI as they cut thousands of jobs, from software engineers to customer service reps. In many cases, AI tools are now handling tasks that used to require whole teams of humans. Coding assistants can churn out software features. Chatbots can field customer complaints. As one CEO bluntly put it, our AI is doing more with less headcount. For workers, it's a mix of awe and anxiety. Sure, automation has been eliminating certain jobs for decades, but the pace and breadth of AI-driven layoffs in 2025 have some experts using the term AI shock. Employees are grappling with, should I be training an AI to do my own job? Meanwhile, tech firms insist this will free up humans for higher value roles and boost productivity. Yet so far, many of those laid off aren't finding those promised new roles. Labor advocates are calling for retraining programs and even a slowdown in deploying certain AI tools until society can catch up. The debate over AI's impact on employment is only heating up. Are we on the verge of a productivity boom where new jobs emerge that we can't even imagine yet? Or a jobless future where AI handles everything and millions are left in the lurch? For now, it's little comfort to those freshly laid off that a bot might be celebrating its new workload. What do you think? Is AI an opportunity or a threat to workers? Let's discuss in the comments. And if this story got you thinking, drop a like on the video. What happens when a rock concert Kiss Cam exposes a corporate affair? One tech company just found out in the most viral way. It all started at a Coldplay concert this month, when frontman Chris Martin's roaming Kiss Cam landed on an unsuspecting couple in the crowd. The stadium jumbotron showed a man and woman in an intimate embrace, who then frantically tried to hide their faces as Martin joked, either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. Well, it turned out to be an affair indeed, and a very high-profile one at that. The man was Andy Byron, CEO of Astronomer, a New York tech firm, and the woman was his company's HR executive, neither of whom were each other's spouse. Cue internet frenzy. Fan-shot video of the awkward moment exploded across social media. Within days, Astronomer's CEO resigned in disgrace, followed by the HR exec, their shocked faces becoming meme fodder worldwide. Even Coldplay got a bump, with online streaming of their songs spiking 20% after the clip went viral. But the story doesn't end there. In an only in 2025 twist, Gwyneth Paltrow, Oscar-winning actress and Chris Martin's ex-wife, entered the chat. Paltrow announced on X, Twitter, that she's been hired as a very temporary spokesperson for Astronomer. In a tongue-in-cheek video, she addressed the public's burning questions without ever mentioning the scandal directly. Smiling knowingly, she thanked everyone for their newfound interest in data workflow automation, Astronomer's business, and assured that the company is getting back to delivering game-changing results. Talk about damage control with a pop culture twist. Hiring Paltrow, who knows a thing or two about conscious uncoupling, might be a PR masterstroke to turn the page. It certainly got everyone talking, and Astronomer hopes focusing on their software rather than their ex-CEO's love life. In the end, a private indiscretion turned into a global viral saga. And who better than a Hollywood star to help script a happier ending? When is an out-of-this-world movie promo more than just a figure of speech? At San Diego Comic-Con this weekend, actor Ryan Gosling left fans buzzing by introducing the world to his new extraterrestrial pal, a faceless alien named Rocky. Gosling is starring in the upcoming sci-fi film Project Hail Mary, based on Andy Weir's hit novel, and attendees at Comic-Con's Hall H got a sneak peek of the movie, plus a special in-person visit from Rocky. In footage shown exclusively to the 6,000-plus fans, Gosling's astronaut character befriends Rocky, a stone-like, no-face alien, as they join forces to save Earth from an ecological catastrophe. Rocky communicates through musical tones in the story, and on stage the creature was brought to life as a puppet/CG hybrid that wowed the crowd. Gosling bounded on stage in a trucker hat and flannel, brimming with enthusiasm. "What's up, Hall H?" he shouted before joking about his disheveled space caveman look in the film's opening scene. The directors, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, joined Gosling alongside author Andy Weir, sharing how the heart of Project Hail Mary is an unlikely interstellar bromance. "If the universe depended on it, can adult men make friends?" they quipped. That's the core theme. Fans were treated to unfinished clips, including Rocky and Gosling's character figuring out how to communicate, a moment equal parts nerdy science and buddy comedy. The response? Rapturous. Rocky is already a cult favorite from the book, and Lord Miller hinted he could become a Comic-Con cosplay staple. Gosling, who called Weir the greatest sci-fi mind of our time, said he signed onto the movie as soon as he read the manuscript. With the film still 7 months from release, this panel definitely dialed up the hype. It's not every day you see an A-lister sharing the stage with an alien co-star, one that might just steal the show. Can you imagine 122-degree heat? Southern Europe sure can, and it's as brutal as it sounds. A scorching heat wave has shattered records across the Mediterranean, with Turkey bearing the worst of it. This Friday, Turkey hit an all-time high of 50.5 degrees C, that's 122.9 degrees, in the southeastern town of Silopi. It's the hottest temperature ever recorded in Turkey, topping the previous record set in 2023. Hospitals in the region are overwhelmed with heat stroke and dehydration cases, and authorities are urging people to stay indoors during peak afternoon hours. To put it in perspective, much of Turkey is 10 to 12 degrees Celsius hotter than normal for July. The extreme heat, combined with drought conditions and strong winds, has ignited dozens of wildfires from Turkey to Greece. In Turkey alone, over 25,000 firefighters backed by water-bombing planes and helicopters are battling blazes across multiple provinces. Tragically, at least 13 firefighters lost their lives in one massive inferno in western Turkey. Meanwhile, in Greece, fires near Athens have destroyed homes and forced evacuations, as the country endures its own heat wave above 45 degrees Celsius. The Greek government even closed the Acropolis to tourists during the hottest part of the day, a symbolic sign of how intense the situation is. The Eastern Mediterranean hasn't seen a heat siege like this in recent memory. It's so extreme that even the sea surface temperatures are hitting records. Climate scientists point to global warming supercharging these heat waves, making them longer and more frequent. Southern Europeans are adapting to a harsh new summer reality: earlier heat, deadlier fires, and the need for constant vigilance. With several more days of scorching and no relief in the forecast, countries are urgently requesting EU assistance to fight fires and bracing for potential power outages. This is a wake-up call that the climate crisis isn't a future scenario, it's here now, and it's literally blistering. Could a twice-a-year injection really stop the spread of HIV worldwide? A major development in global health this week has experts cautiously optimistic. Europe's drug regulators green-lit a new injectable medication called lenacapavir. That's administered just twice a year and can prevent HIV infection. In clinical studies, this shot showed near 100% effectiveness at blocking transmission. Some are hailing it as a potential game-changer in the fight against HIV/AIDS, perhaps even a stepping stone to ending new infections entirely. Here's how it works. Lenacapavir is a long-acting antiretroviral that, once injected, lingers in the body for 6 months, suppressing the virus's ability to establish an infection. For people at risk of HIV, this could replace daily preventative pills or more frequent shots like cabotegravir, which is every 2 months. The UNAIDS director, Winnie Byanyima, said this drug could change the trajectory of the HIV epidemic if rolled out widely. And notably, the US FDA approved lenacapavir for prevention last month, and the WHO has recommended it as an additional prevention choice. But access and cost will determine how revolutionary this really is. The manufacturer, Gilead Sciences, says it will allow generic production in 120 low-income countries. Yet middle-income regions, like much of Latin America, are excluded from those licenses, which has some advocates worried the people who need it most might not get it. There's also the logistical challenge, getting people to clinics twice a year for an injection and ensuring global supply. Still, it's hard to overstate the excitement in the medical community. A world with 0 new HIV infections is finally in sight. If nations can muster the funding and healthcare infrastructure to deploy this widely, history might be made. This is one story where we're rooting hard for a happy ending, with science prevailing over one of humanity's deadliest viruses. Fewer babies are being born in America than ever before. Is it a ticking time bomb or just the new normal? The latest CDC data show the U.S. fertility rate has dropped to an all-time low of about 1.6 children per woman. That's well below the replacement rate of 2.1 needed to keep the population stable. It continues a steady slide in birth rates over the past 2 decades, now putting the U.S. in the same low fertility league as many European countries. For context, back in the early 1960s, the U.S. fertility rate was 3.5. Today, it's less than half that. So what's behind the baby bust? It's a complex mix of social and economic factors. Americans are generally having children later in life, or sometimes not at all, due to career focus, cost of living pressures, or personal choice. Housing, education, healthcare, all pricier than for past generations, can make raising a child feel financially daunting. And with lingering economic uncertainty, many couples are delaying parenthood. As one demographer put it, worry is not a good time to have kids. Interestingly, the U.S. is still growing in population, mainly thanks to immigration and the fact that births still outnumber deaths, for now. But if the trend continues, we could face the same challenges countries like Japan and Italy are grappling with: an aging population, labor shortages, and strain on social support systems. Policymakers are split on solutions. Some have floated ideas like bigger child tax credits, subsidized childcare, or even direct incentives for having kids. In fact, the Trump administration has mused about pro-family tax breaks and even dubbed Trump the fertility president for his interest in boosting births. However, critics note that at the same time, cuts have been made to programs that help young families, like childcare subsidies and healthcare, which undercuts those efforts. Globally, many wealthier nations have tried similar measures, from baby bonuses to parental leave expansions, with mixed success. Culturally, too, attitudes toward having children are shifting. Ultimately, whether this low birth rate is seen as a crisis or simply a society reaching a new equilibrium remains hotly debated. Fewer people can mean lower environmental impact and less resource strain, some argue. But it also poses economic puzzles. One thing's clear, America's demographic future is changing, and every baby that isn't born today shapes the nation we'll see a generation from now. Imagine your boss saying, "Use AI," or else. Well, one major company just did exactly that. Yahoo Japan, one of the country's biggest tech firms, has mandated daily use of generative AI tools for all employees. Yes, mandatory AI. The goal? Dramatically boosting productivity. They're shooting to double overall productivity by 2030 with AI's help. Under the new policy, every worker must integrate AI into their routine workflow, whether it's coding with AI assistance, using chatbots for research, or automating repetitive tasks. Yahoo Japan is so serious about this that they're providing mandatory training on AI tools and even monitoring usage to ensure people actually use them. It's one of the most aggressive corporate AI adoption strategies we've seen anywhere in the world. The company's leadership basically said, "The AI revolution isn't coming, it's here, and adapt or get left behind." They believe making AI non-optional will force a culture change where employees lean on these tools to work smarter, not harder. Already, stories are coming out of AI helping staff accomplish tasks in minutes that used to take hours. For instance, marketers generating campaign copy with AI or engineers debugging code with AI suggestions. But not everyone's comfortable. Some longtime staff feel coerced into using tech they don't fully trust. There are fears of AI making errors or concerns about the company tracking their every keystroke of AI usage. There are also ethical questions. What about jobs that could become redundant if AI handles so much? Yahoo Japan insists no one is getting fired over this and that it's about empowerment. In Japan's work culture, known for long hours, this AI push could even help with work-life balance if it truly cuts grunt work. It's a bold experiment, essentially treating AI like an essential coworker. Other companies around the globe are watching closely. If Yahoo Japan actually hits that 2x productivity target, expect similar mandates to pop up elsewhere. On the flip side, if it causes employee backlash or doesn't deliver results, it'll serve as a cautionary tale. AI in the workplace is here. The only question is whether it'll be encouraged or enforced. Yahoo Japan has chosen the latter, betting big that this tough love approach will pay off in innovation and efficiency. Passengers on one Australian flight got a hysterical surprise. In a scene straight out of a Hollywood thriller, a domestic flight in Australia was delayed for 2 hours because a snake managed to sneak on board. Yes, a snake on a plane, but fortunately not the venomous kind and definitely no Samuel L. Jackson needed. As travellers on a Virgin Australia flight VA337 were boarding in Brisbane, someone spotted the small python slithering around an overhead bin area. Cue the gasps and flurry of phone cameras. The airline staff promptly halted boarding and calmly ushered everyone off. No one was hurt, and the snake didn't go full anaconda on anyone's luggage. But it did take a couple of hours for a professional reptile handler to come and safely capture the rogue reptile. Officials believe the little stowaway likely hitched a ride from the aircraft's previous location in a storage compartment and then wriggled out to the cabin. Imagine the shock. 1 minute you're hoisting your carry-on, the next you see a snake tail peeking out. Virgin Australia joked that snake sightings on planes are extremely rare. A relief to frequent flyers, no doubt. They even refunded passengers and gave them travel vouchers for the inconvenience, and presumably the scare. The incident quickly went viral on social media, with jokes about snakes on a plane down under edition. It's the kind of quirky, real-life story that reminds us travel always has a bit of unpredictability. The plane eventually took off sans serpent, and our slithery friend was released safely back into the wild. all's well that ends well, but we're pretty sure those passengers will double-check the overhead bins next time they fly. And that's a wrap on today's Global Briefing. We covered a ton, from conflicts and climate shocks to viral pop culture moments and cutting-edge breakthroughs. It's a rapidly changing world, and our mission is to keep you informed, intrigued, and prepared. If you found value here, please smash that like button and share this video with friends who need their daily global news fix. We'd also love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment on which story resonated most with you or what questions you have. Before you go, make sure to subscribe to the AI, Business and Innovation podcast and hit the bell icon so you won't miss our next briefing. We're here every day with smart, fast updates on the stories that matter. Join our community of globally aware viewers. We're thrilled to have you with us. Until next time, this is Daniel N.J. Halbert signing off. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next Global Daily Briefing. Thanks for watching.